Yeah, guys, I met Brian. Brian invited me to run in the Grand Canyon, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm just a like an athlete straight off the couch and went to the Grand Canyon with Brian, like with zero training, really. I mean,
Sure.
a little more than zero, but yeah. And so since then, we've done some dumb stuff, but it's really fun. So I think we'll have a lot of fun out here. I do think we'll have a lot of fun. I went and ran what, Brian, like 29 miles with you
Mhm.
recently,
Yeah.
and oh my gosh, this is going to be a chore, but I think it'll be fun for everybody.
That sounds like, Rob, that you want to do the 19-mile overnight stretch from what I'm hearing you. That's what I'm hearing you say.
I'm okay with it.
Rob already did that section. You did that section with me a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think what would be cool if I did that is because I can definitely remember there's like a couple of turns where we're like, what? Like it's really hard to find the trail.
Oh,
Um,
man.
are we gonna be there at night? Yes. What? 1:45?
That's
Yeah.
right.
So I want to respect everybody's time. I don't know how much time y'all have, but let me try to get through some of this, and then we'll ask questions. Or I've got like a whole list of questions and a whole list of like lists, supplies, things like that. First of all, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to all you guys who are volunteering to help. This is huge. I have a fear in the back of my mind that I'm only going to make it like 30 or 40 miles, which means I'm not going to even see y'all.
No,
It's going to
no.
be
Come on,
over
Brian,
before it
you've already
starts.
run 40 something, so come on.
Um, but
It's good to express your fears. The safe space.
I feel fresh. I feel good. My body feels really good. So hopefully we'll be able to finish this thing. But so a couple of things. Has everybody? Well, have you guys either read through or at least looked at the like the manual, like the crew manual and the runner's manual? Have you guys looked at all that? Rob's probably the only one that hasn't.
I
Haven't.
have not looked at the runner's manual. I've
I
definitely
haven't seen the runners.
through stuff.
Okay, I'll pull that up here in a second, but there's a couple of things that are real specific and important. A couple of places that y'all cannot be, and then everywhere that you can be, you need to make sure you have all four wheels off the road, the main road or path or whatever it is, Forest Service Road, whatever it is. If not, I can get disqualified. So
Mhm.
let's not do that. But I'm just looking. All these ETAs are just what I think.
Right.
Once I get into the thick of it, I don't know what's going to happen. The
Right.
first few cutoffs are kind of scary because I don't have a lot of room for error, and they're
What time do you start? 6 a.m.?
starts at 6 a.m. and there's a cutoff at every aid station.
Right, but I get that. But I'm also looking at your opening remark. You've got 20 miles to cover in 5 hours. I know you're more than capable of doing that, so I don't think you have to be too scared about that.
Yes, I agree. When I see that the ETA is 11 or my ETA is 11, but the cutoff's 40 minutes later, that's like a bad, aid station stop. That's like a bad, like twist my ankle and stop. That's like one little bad thing. There's just not a lot of room for error, is what I'm saying. But
Mhm.
I did this section already, and it's super easy section. It's just baby rollers pretty much the whole time,
Fun. Sounds fun.
and it's super runnable. I was doing it sub 14, sub 15, sub 14 minute miles. All these cutoffs equal 18 and a half minute miles. So that's like,
That's
and
fun.
if you extrapolate that out to 100 miles, that's the average pace, is 18 and a half that you have to stay to. But anyway, so this is the first time I think I'm going to see you guys, aid station 3, which there are coordinates. If I share, where is, I've got so many browsers open.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, here it is.
Fun.
I think that's right. Here it is. So here are all the aid stations. Can you guys see this okay?
Yeah.
Aid station 3, it doesn't have coordinates. I think it does have coordinates in the runner's manual. Yeah, that's
Yep.
the start. This might be one of the hardest things y'all have to do. Here it is. The I-20 overpass. It's literally like we have to run on the actual road that goes over I-20. And that's where this aid station is going to be. Here's the GPS coordinates. So you guys are going to have that. And if you put that into an Apple Maps, I know for sure it works. So here's all the here's all the aid stations. Here's the mile marker number, how long the stretch is, the cutoff time, and then what you can do during that aid station. The crew can be there. If you're an odd bib number, the crew can be there. If you're an even bib number, I'm an odd bib number. So there's only a few that you can't go to, like just a couple.
What
like
is your bib number, Brian?
251
Something.
or 3 or 5 or something like that.
Okay.
I'll get that to you. There's the cutoff. Anyway, so let me try to find. Let me go back to that sheet. I got so many browsers up, and I should have labeled these better.
It's like that. So many browsers.
Where is it?
Three of
But anyway, I've kind of marked all this out. That's not it. This is where I copied it from. Should have. Here it is. Is that it? That's not it. That's the same one. I'm sorry. Any questions so far while I look for this?
Well, I've got questions, but I don't want to jump too far ahead of your presentation.
No, go ahead with your questions.
Well, I mean, the first one that jumps out, I'm going from the beginning. So I know the first place that you want to see your crew is aid station 3. And then I was trying to, and then it seems like aid station 5 is where a drop bag is, which is not allowed for the crew. So that's your first bag drop. So you will be there without us.
Correct.
Basically, the next aid station that we would see you or even start to pace you is 7.
Is that Cheehaw Lake?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I had that up just a second ago and I just messed up my browser. Yeah. So that's what I thought I saw. Yeah.
Cheehaw Lake is the next one that you're going to be able to see me.
Yeah, which is mile 43-ish.
So that's a long time.
So what I was trying to get to with that statement is, you again, drop bag at aid station 5. Again, we can't be there for you. So at aid station 3, I think somebody could be there for you. I don't know if all 3 of us, because and the reason I presented it the way I did, as you just said, it's a long time. So if you wanted somebody at aid station 3, no one else is really needed or should be there until aid station 7. So that's a long downtime. And aid station 7 again is at Cheehaw. So Cheehaw is open basically to the public. So people could show up and we could try to get there. So I guess what I'm trying to say, because I know when you and I have personally spoke, you've thought about the whole crew being together the whole time, but there's a long time between either aid station 3 to aid station 7, or just the fact of aid station 7. And again, I'm just going on my experience. I'm not saying it's the right way. So I'm just trying to understand what you think you'd potentially need at that point. And do you potentially only need one person basically until that point really to cover that?
No, and that's actually the very next. It's right on cue. that's actually the very next thing I wanted to talk about, because this is a big stretch. My ETA here is 6 p.m. versus my ETA here is 11 a.m. That's 7 hours. Because you guys can't be, I'm pretty sure, no crew is allowed at aid station 5.
Right.
Right.
Oh, wait, go back
3,
down.
5,
I think it
7.
says, wait, go back down to what you just highlighted. No crew allowed at 5 or 6. So it's not just
Right.
Or
not
4.
5.
4, 5, or 6. So 3 and 7
Right.
are the only ones you're allowed to even be at.
Exactly.
So your point is, do we need a big old whole crew just for one aid station stop? And if you do, if someone is there, are they needed? I think they are. But my question back to you would be, what's the alternative? Because it seems to me like, would it be where one person comes up there and kind of aids me at aid station 3, and then they like drive back to like a meeting spot to pick everybody up and get ready for the basically when I'll need y'all, which is nighttime? Is that kind of what you're implying?
Well, to a degree. I mean, again, I wish I remembered more. It's been a few years since I ran this. And I don't know if they had the restriction at the time of just one vehicle. I don't recall that. And the way I'm reading the manual right now, it's probably something that's newer. But again, with Jihad in itself, that's a public space. So, it would be easy for people to show up there, without because there will be just visitors there in general. So that could be a spot. And then since we have the 4, it could be coordinated such that you've got your one designated vehicle that makes sure it shows up at the aid stations, and the other vehicle of people that may come and go, could drop people off and just sort of ride along, just knowing that, you're just basically meeting, like say the crew vehicle somewhere along the way and doing that. And the reason I say that in part, because when Beef Tips and I talked this morning, I don't know if he's mentioned it, now he's going to be on call, next week. So I know he's not going to be out there for 24-ish hours, to do that. So I see him as potentially somebody that at some point's got to peel off and leave. And I don't know if Jana will be in that same boat. So that would be a coordination. So that's what I'm trying to clarify, because we very well could have somebody that's on the hook to be there, like you said, for aid station 3. And then at aid station 7, there could be 2 vehicles that are sort of carrying around, understanding that one of them's official and it's the one that can only go there. But at some point, like I said, I would have imagined Beef Tips or Jana, or excuse me, and Jana may leave. So
yeah, I think that it would be very hard for us to be there for aid station 3, primarily because we have our childcare coming like in the afternoon that day, and then we're heading out to come after that. So aid station 3, we won't be at. After that, though, I think it just depends on which one of us is doing what leg. The way we'll, one of us will be there, but both of us probably won't be there, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Well,
so
no, I mean, when you say one or both, I mean, are you saying like throughout the point, you two would potentially each run a leg, or just sort of one or the other would be there?
Yeah, we'll both run legs, but we may, like, for instance, he probably will not be able to do a Sunday leg. That's the day he goes on shift. So his legs would be better, those first pacer 1, pacer 2 legs, which, I may not be with him, I guess is what I'm saying, when he comes for those times.
Oh, so you're saying even the 2 of you may be in separate vehicles?
Maybe.
Depending on how things.
That does add an extra little challenge at that some point, because there's one thing to get away with 2 cars, bouncing around.
Yeah.
Everybody in an individual car, that's going to be a little bit more coordination on that point.
It's kind of, but it's kind of like an exchange. Like we would still just have one between the 2 of us, meaning like at the spot.
Yeah, but only one allowed in there.
Correct.
So
into
aside from
Jihad itself, or
only
into
one car
the
would be
other
allowed officially in there.
In the aid station, right?
Correct.
Yeah. That's all I mean, I think as long as someone anyway, we can talk more about logistics of the Pacers and where people need to be, but it may be that only one of us goes Saturday and the other one is there for Sunday, I guess, just depending on what the needs are.
I got you.
I don't know what all the needs are.
So, Beef, what time, she said you needed to be off on Sunday. So, maybe like what time are you anticipating? Because to me, where you can pick up a runner is at aid station 7, right, Brian?
Correct.
So, if you started there,
Uh-huh.
what time do you basically need to be done?
That
In case you ran a couple of legs with him.
yeah. So with my legs, physical legs, right now, a 13 miler. I've not done more than like 10 miles in the last few
Gotcha.
months. So I did when was our last half?
June.
In June, yeah.
June.
So I don't think you get more than a leg at that distance out of mine.
Okay.
So like I could do like that 13 mile would be probably good for me. It'd be a stretch mileage wise for my legs, but I don't think I could come back and do multiples like that.
Okay, fair enough.
Keep in mind that we're we're hiking / trail running 14,
Yeah.
15, 16-minute miles.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's different than
I'm not
his
running.
his normal pace.
Oh yeah. Totally different for sure. Especially after the way you left me this morning. Thanks.
So this section right here, starting at Cheeha Lake. So, well, first of all, just to wrap this up into a bow. It's almost like I don't care. I feel like this is something y'all need to figure out. I do need, and we'll get to what I do need here in a second, but I do feel like I do need someone here. And then there's just this huge long stretch of, a 7-hour, gap of time where there's a enormous parking lot at Cheeha Lake where this aid station is. And this is going to be a pretty big aid station. This is going to be the first time anyone can have a pacer. So everyone's going to have a pacer, or most everyone is. There's 250 something people in this race. Although I'm going to be towards the back at this point. I'll be in the back half for sure. Just based on what previous year's results look like. So this stretch here, well, first of all, as far as however y'all get here, I think that might be just a conversation for you guys. I'm not sure. Maybe y'all need to just figure out logistically how you're going to do that, what you're going to do specifically. This stretch right here, this 13-mile stretch, Rob, what would you say? I mean, half of it's on the road.
Yeah.
Maybe not half.
The first half is all in those mountains. That 13. The road, there's a lot of roads in that 11-6, I think.
That's what it is. You're right. Yeah. But there is this starts on the road.
Yeah.
This section, the first 3 miles or 4 miles of this section is all part of it's pavement, like 2 miles pavement, 1.5 miles, 2 miles of Forest Service road. And then it's trail, and I don't know if you guys have done the Chinnaby Trail, but this goes through the Chinnaby Trail and through the Skyway Trail, which I've done those trails a dozen times. So I'm super familiar with it. You can really boogie. The first half of it's going to be all downhill. Second half's going to be pretty good uphill. And then once you get to Adams Gap, my thought here is whoever ends up running this 11-mile stretch with me, my thought here is I want to drop my vest completely. This thing, Rob, I mean, half of this is road.
It's road, and it's almost all uphill.
Slight uphill. But I want to drop all the weight off of me.
Yeah.
And just do this 3-hour section without any weight. And so I'm going to have someone carry water bottle. There's going to be there's 11.6 miles here, and there's going to be aid stations 11 and 12. 2 aid stations are going to be in between in this 11-mile section. So there's going to be water. There's a water only aid station, and then there's a full aid station with food and gels and everything. So I think I can be okay with just with no vest here. And then we got the longer stretch. We got the 19-mile stretch here. And this, Rob, you didn't do this stretch.
I don't think I did that part with you. No, I did.
We stopped at Porter's Gap.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a tough stretch. There's a big, it's the steepest uphill of the whole race is in this section. It's about a 3-mile uphill.
Oh, that's gonna suck.
So, I mean, yeah, in terms of who's going to do what, again, we can pencil things in. It looks like, we've got a runner for aid station 7. And then the next one is, okay, for aid stations 8 and 9, there is basically no runner exchange. There's just aid stations, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, I see that there. Okay, thanks. And so that 10 is where, someone would take it up. So at this point, my understanding is Jana would not be there, potentially the way she's planning right now at that point. So it could be me or Rob. I'm fine with doing the 19 miles.
Okay.
Again, I know this is all subject to change, we can change it off. I don't have any issues there. So
I can run that 11.6 and then pick something up at the end too.
Okay, great. So he takes that one. I take the 13. And then at that point, then someone would be picked up at aid station 16. And this is potentially where Jana can come in.
Yeah.
And then she could pick it up. And then
I can do either of those, both of those or one of those, either way.
And then,
either way.
especially if Rob got 17.
This is all flat, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Once you get to 87,
Yeah.
this is all relatively flat, just baby rollers the whole way in.
Yeah.
The last 13 miles, last 12 miles.
Okay.
I'm glad
this might not be okay. So look, let's just throw this out real quick. Hypothetically, if Beef Tip shows up at Cheehaw Lake on his own, he doesn't have to have a driver's permit, to show up there. Because, like I said, it's a public parking, so he could do his run.
You do though, Keith. It does explicitly say it. I know it's in the park, but it does say it in the runner's manual.
So you're telling me, let's just say for me, I wasn't running with you.
There's going to be 200 cars there.
Okay, but I'm telling you, if I just showed up, me and my family, I'm going to be turned away. There are so many people out there that time in the park. They're not just sitting here going, I'm sorry, if you're not a runner, you can't come here.
Okay.
I mean, you can ask that question. Send I can't even think of his name now, David, an email about that. I mean, I'm almost certain. Again, all I can say is at that time, that park was full.
Let me ask you this. Stop. Let me ask you this. Is the whole crew planning on being here at aid station 7, Cheehaw Lake?
This is what I'm hearing.
Everybody can be.
Is that Jana, could be, but if the idea is that Beef Tips is going to be done, or aid station, he's going to do the first one, and then she's going to pick up at 7:45. I heard that they potentially are going to be, one of them is going to drive the car there. They're going to do their pace. They're going to leave. The other one's going to come back with the plan on beating at Bull's Gap. And somebody's going to pick them up along the way because their car cannot be there.
Right. Correct.
And, at that point, that's what I'm saying. I do not see 4 people being in a car together starting at aid station 3 through the rest of the race.
Okay. Let me ask the question again because the answer was so convoluted. I'm not sure that I even got the answer. Here's the question. Is everyone planning on being at aid station 7?
I am not.
Okay.
If I'm doing just the Sunday ones, I probably won't be there.
So your plan as of now then sounds to me like Beef Tips is driving up solo.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna park somewhere in the Cheehaw area.
Mm-hmm.
Do that leg. And then who was pacer 2 again?
Rob.
Me.
Rob.
Yeah, me.
Rob.
Rob is.
Bam! I'm on the board.
Okay. So when Beef Tips gets here and y'all switch, or after you provide aid for me and we're off, Rob and I are off, this is where the crew vehicle is taking Beef Tips back to his vehicle
Right.
before they come to aid station 13, because you've got 3 hours here, 4 hours here. You got 4 hours here. So he's taking Beef Tips back to his vehicle. Beef Tips, you're gone at that point. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'll need to sleep.
He has to sleep that night.
Don't sleep.
And
well
then you're
enough to
gonna
sleep.
come back and basically Jana's gonna get in the car and drive to wherever the rest of the crew is. Is that kind of your plan?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So
Correct.
so I guess the Porter's Gaps aid station will just be Keith meeting me and Rob there, providing aid, switching off. And I guess sounds to me like Scrum, you're gonna do 3.
Yeah.
Pacer 3. And now Rob, you've got the vehicle. And you're gonna meet Jana at some point, somewhere in between 1:45 and 7:45. Does that sound right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, so that gives him, a fair amount of time, because so if he finishes his run, it gives him a time to whatever, stretch his legs, change his clothes, eat, and go, because what is the rough ETA, like you said, 6 hours, so he's got time, and then plenty of time to figure out where he's going to meet Jana. So, that will definitely be the easy point, is for Beef Tips to figure out where he's going to be. The bigger question that we're going to have to figure out then is where Jana will be.
Okay.
Because Bull's Gap doesn't necessarily ring a bell to say we're going to meet at X.
Right.
So we definitely going to have to coordinate where that could be.
What I would suggest, and what I would not even just suggest, what I would recommend, not even recommend, what I would want y'all to do is, I've already got a pass. Our crew pass, our vehicle crew pass gets us into Cheehaw State Park. What I would suggest is Beef Tips parks. There's a parking lot right at the general store, right before you go into the park. You just park there and pick him up.
Yeah.
Because I don't even want to risk getting like a DQ on a technicality because there wasn't an extra vehicle allowed. And I understand your point. Your point makes sense, Scrum. I just want to play it safe.
Stakes are too high. Stakes are too high.
So just pick him up, come crew me, and then we'll take off. And then y'all can go and.
Yeah, the car that needs to move back and forth just stays outside the gate in that gravel parking lot.
And Rob and I parked our cars there overnight in that parking lot. We parked them overnight from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Yeah.
When we did that nighttime run.
Yeah.
Running back to my car.
There were lots of cars there.
How far is that parking lot from the Cheehaw Lake area?
Couple miles.
The aid station 7.
Like 2 miles.
Yeah.
Less than.
Because he was just saying he could just run himself back to his car, so no one has to bring him back. They can just be focused on getting to the next.
No, that would be, you would pop
From
out at
Adams Gap.
Adams
Gap. How far is, and that would
Adams
be more
Gap
like
to
a
Cheehaw
half
Lake.
marathon, like
Yeah,
a half
like
marathon distance.
9 or 10 miles.
No, the only thing it might be, David, is you could park your car and run to Cheehaw for the pickup, depending on, if we go first past you, but I don't even know if it's worth that. We just
Y'all want to do that? Just judging by these ETAs. I mean, look at that. That's by the time Beef Tips gets to Adams Gap and it's roughly 9:45. They've got y'all got 4 hours to go drop him off, which is 10 miles away, and get to the next aid station.
Yeah.
Plenty of time.
Which is only a few miles away.
Yeah.
Can you guys paint a picture for me with our what we're doing at the aid station and what it looks like.
Yeah, perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah. Are we done talking about all this, the logistics of all
Yep.
this?
I think so. That's
I'll
pretty.
figure out how to connect, at Bull's Gap with
Okay.
them.
So this is kind of what I'm sure there's other things, but this is kind of what I need. Probably just have water bottles ready that I can just switch out in my vest. Go ahead and grab my drop bag. I won't need you to do that at 3 because there's not even a drop bag at 3. I'll be getting my own drop bag at 5. But to go ahead and grab my drop bag at Cheeha Lake and just have it ready. I'm gonna have a change of clothes in all my drop bags. That's probably about it. But just grab my drop bags at, I think there's 4 total. 4 total drop bags that y'all have to grab. Grab them and have them ready for me. Just so I can change. And if someone has like a folding chair, I can sit down for a minute. I don't even have one, but just something like a pop out chair.
Yes.
I've got one.
Someone can just grab my vest. I'll probably grab some food on my own. I'll have some Tylenol, Motrin.
How do you picture that, Brian? Do you want us to have a little table set up where you're not digging through the car? How do you want? What are your thoughts? How do you vision that to look? Like you pull up and we have a little 4x4 table with all your stuff set up ready, so you can just grab it and sit down.
I mean, I don't know if I need a 4x4 table, but just
It'd be easy to grab.
yeah. If you had one, sure.
I've got one little one that we do at events, and it's only like maybe 36 by 36, but it pops up like a picnic table. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. I'd like to have, just grab my vest. I know it's gonna be wet and sweaty. If y'all don't want to do that, I understand. But just
Of course we'll do it.
Was that?
Of course we will.
That's not a big deal.
Switch out. I've got 2 waters that y'all can just take out. I'll give you extra ones to have that y'all can already have them ready. One a mix and one straight water. And then I'm gonna keep an extra water bottle. So I'll have 3 half liters on me.
So I got a question on that real quick. I mean, when you say you'll give it to us, this is stuff that's already going to be in the crew vehicle, or it's going to be stuff that's in your drop bag?
Crew vehicle.
Okay.
The only thing that's gonna be in my drop bag is a change of clothes. That way y'all aren't having to fool with it, try to figure out what I need or what. The bag is already ready. You just go and grab it and have it ready for me.
And then the Tylenol, Motrin, no big deal.
I'm gonna have that to you ahead of time.
Okay, that's fine. And then I was thinking more like again, the food. You don't have anything you want prepped. You're just going to eat stuff at the aid station. Not that that's bad. You seem particular. I figured you have your own stuff.
I'm not particular. I've got a pretty hard stomach.
Okay.
I've done aid station food at every race I've ever done.
Okay.
It's awesome.
I'll have gels on me. What's up?
You want any pork chops?
No, thank you.
The last run me and Brian went on, I took like a bunch of pork chops and had them stashed in bags.
What the heck?
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Brian likes Jack's. I can get some pork chop biscuits. We can have all of those and some hash browns. Oh yeah.
I'm good.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
But I'll just grab something. I'll have a lot of bananas. I do eat bananas. So I'll do that. Don't give any to Rob. He'll throw up.
Got it.
But I'll grab goos and stuff. If y'all want to grab a couple of goos, the aid stations are gonna have them. If y'all want to grab them from the aid station, if y'all want to just grab some stuff at the aid station, grab some food, something solid, something a little easier chewable. I may or may not eat it. Something like that.
Yeah.
And then just hand me I'll probably chug parts of a gallon of water. Just hand me a gallon. Probably just chug some. Just hand me a gallon of water.
Awesome.
But I really
beer. How many do you want? Coors, Miller? or a light beer? What do you want, Brian?
No, thank you. I don't drink. But
Whiskey.
I really want to
Whiskey, yeah,
limit
the hard stuff.
I really want to limit these to like no more than 5 minutes,
Woo,
if possible.
nice.
I may have to retape my feet, but that's stuff I'm
Yeah.
gonna have on me. And
Well,
this
I
will
meant
be
to tell you, I know I've given you that idea about, using like deodorant for that toe that you were telling me about. As well, I meant to suggest, have you tried those wart pads before? That basically, because they give a pretty decent cushion and they got that sticky thing that you could put on there. I don't know if that's something you've tried. Could be a consideration.
I've never tried it and I don't want to try anything at this point.
Okay.
I'll have extra shoes in the crew vehicle so you can offer
Sucks.
I'm
Well,
probably gonna
I would tell you, Brian, you definitely want to change your socks, dude. I
Well,
mean,
all
especially
that-
if you're gonna retape your feet.
all that's gonna be in the drop bag.
Well, I know. I just saw where you said offer change of socks. It's like I would just suggest you change your socks. I mean that'll be such a refresher.
If they're wet or if they're wet or moist or something like that, I probably will. But I generally like to kind of roll with what I got.
Okay.
It really just be a feel thing.
Yep.
Just some stuff that you guys are gonna have to have on you while you're or I guess in the crew vehicle. This is in the crew vehicle. And this is all stuff I'm going to provide for you, except for I don't have a fold-out chair. So, Rob, you're
Got
bringing
it.
a fold-out chair,
Yeah.
fold-out table.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to provide some whatever medical I might need. I'm going to provide all this. I'm providing all this. Yeah. So this is nothing you guys need to bring, but it's just stuff that you need to have available.
Mhm. Okay.
There might be something else I add to this list. This is my personal checklist, everything I'm gonna have on me. Your checklist, if you're pacing me, I want to highly recommend that y'all you kind of need to download All Trails if you don't have it already. I think it's like $19.99 or something for the year.
Here, yeah.
I would highly recommend it. I use it a lot.
Mhm.
But you can download the Pinhoti 100 map. And that's how I am going to be navigating. The course is pretty well marked. I've done 70 miles of it, and it's pretty well marked. Especially the part at night that me and Rob hiked. I mean, they've got reflective blue
Man, Brian, that
flags
first
and-
part is not. It's hard.
There is a hard section, but y'all don't have to worry about that because you can't pace me right there anyway.
Oh, okay.
That section's before Cheeha Lake, so you don't have to worry about that. But like the stuff that y'all do it seems to be pretty well marked, but there is the last like 8 or so miles of the Pinhoti 100 map that's in All Trails is not. They have a new ending, a new finish line, so it's not right on there, but the rest of it is right. So I would just familiarize yourself, especially Jana, since you're doing that last part.
Yeah.
Familiarize yourself with that ending just to make sure. I don't know how delusional I'll be at this point, so I'm really gonna probably need y'all to, hey, don't be afraid to say, hey, do we need to go this way, or I think it's this way, or yeah.
Good.
Phone, watch. I highly recommend trekking poles if you guys don't have them, especially the uphills. I'm going to be using them the whole time. Water, any kind of fuel that you feel like you'll need. The pacers have access to all the aid stations and all the aid at the aid stations, so you don't have to worry about carrying a bunch of extra water because you'll have access to all that. And a light. I don't know why I didn't put that on here. you're gonna need a light.
A good light.
The headlamp I had sucked. The headlamp Rob had sucked.
Yeah, that's for you, this one. Mhm.
I'm about to go buy a brand new one.
Me too. That light sucked. It was this big.
I'm literally going tomorrow, and I'm buying new headlamps. But you're gonna need your own headlamp with extra batteries. You're gonna need to carry. I should have extra batteries for me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I have y'all carry for me. I don't think anything.
I think we need to have extra batteries, everybody, because that was sucked when my light went out in the middle of the woods.
And I would avoid
That's
the rechargeable ones because you're not obviously you can't put batteries in them. And if it's out, it's out.
Right.
And I'm assuming it's all, was it L AAA?
Yeah.
The ones I
The
had.
AAAs.
Well, I mean, if you
I think
guys
they're
don't have,
all-
I mean, if you have a rechargeable one like I do, that's fine. You need a backup one, whether that's rechargeable or another one with batteries. But even like, I don't know, David, if you're thinking about buying one, if you already have one, but I mean, even Home Depot sells a pretty solid one, pretty cheap right there at the checkout counter as it takes like.
Those aren't very good. Look,
My opinion,
when
they're
it's pitch
very
black,
good.
I've got a Home Depot one and I've got a little bit better of one. When it's pitch black and you just got like a little spotlight, it sucks. It really does. Like Rob fell
It's like a blinder.
twice.
Yeah, I've got a crappy one, but I'm gonna borrow a nice one from her.
My dad's giving us a really bright one.
I had a few nice ones in the.
He's bringing it
Oh.
up when he comes to watch our kiddos.
Okay.
So we'll have that one.
Just again, with the all trails, I think it's important to have that, or unless you have, there's another app. I don't pay for it. But there's another app like All Trails. What's it called? Gaia, Gaia. You guys heard of that?
No.
Gaia. I don't know if y'all can see that. Probably not.
Oh yeah. A little mountain. Green
They
mountain.
similar. You can actually take the GPX file from the Pinhoti 100 website and load it into Gaia, and it works on that. It does not work on All Trails, but you have to pay for this, and I forgot how much it is.
That's interesting.
I just pay for it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna add you guys to my Garmin tracking. So as soon as I hit
Nice.
start on my watch, you guys can actually click on you'll get an email notification and you can click on that link and you can live track me where I'm at. So that probably help.
Yeah.
Any questions? Comments?
Well, one thing you had listed on here is a question that you didn't specifically mention. At the aid station, you want to video it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, if there's an extra one, and I can give you guys, I've got an extra phone. I would love for you guys to video the whole thing. It's only gonna be like a 5-minute stop, but if you can video it.
All right.
And Rob, this is probably be a job for Rob
Yeah, I'll do it.
because he likes doing stuff like that. And if you want to like kind of just video like what y'all are doing while I'm not there,
Okay.
if there's something interesting, you can do that.
And all up in your face when you're tired, right? All up in your face.
Wires between. You
Sure.
put it into a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
What other questions?
I don't know if we have any other questions. Well, it's not so much a question as we just need to make sure that we all have each other's phone numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't
Yeah.
gotten that yet.
I'll put you all in a group. Well, I don't have Beef Tips or Jana's number. Can y'all like text that to me or email that to me?
You
And
do
I'll
in the chat right
in the
now
chat.
too. Yeah. Let's see.
can go and do that now. Some of y'all don't have iPhones, so it's annoying.
Jana, are you from North Alabama?
I'm from Fort Payne.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
996.
And I'm Trailblazer. That's my FIA name. So I feel like it's applicable for this race. So Trailblazer is also fine.
256-996-7456.
That's correct.
336. Blind. 465.
336-465-6258 is David.
If y'all want to just reply with your real name, so everybody has it.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Boots.
You know I can't be serious about anything.
Who's that? Okay, everybody get that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. So anyway, so the contact was one, and I would say the other thing, even though we've, penciled in, how the stops are going to be, one thing I definitely, like you said, leave nothing to chance, is to actually now take a look at the map and where things actually are for these stations, about where we could potentially, again, meet somebody, move them back. We all agree there's time in between it. It's just making sure that there's nothing as a gotcha to say, oh, that's going to be an issue based on our plan. So that would be one thing that I'd look at. I'll take a look at tomorrow and sort of map it out and make sure I don't see anything that I'd be concerned about.
Okay. So real quick, thank you for mentioning that. You've got the GPS coordinates for this, whoever ends up being this person. Adams Gap, you can put into Apple Maps and Google Maps, and it will come right up.
Okay.
Porter's Gap, same thing. Bull's
Okay.
Gap, same thing. These
Great.
are Pinhoti trailheads that are
Okay.
pretty widely
Standard, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Cheehaw Lake is inside of Cheehaw State Park.
Right.
So this is my ETA right here, 6. I would plan on getting there as early as maybe 4. David,
Mhm.
and just
You can do
be
that.
ready. Because I don't know. All of my ETAs are conservative. I feel like all my ETAs are kind of worst case scenarios. To be honest, I've put them out, so I may be there earlier.
So see, that's my guess, Brian. I mean, I know you and I have not raced together for something like this, but just based on what I've seen and running with you, these do seem conservative. To me, I would expect you here earlier on all of these. But as you said, if you got that Garmin tracker and we got each other's notes, it's one of those things we can watch. Now, again, absolutely, I agree with you. We don't need to be cutting it off or going, holy crap, he's whatever hour ahead of schedule and I got 15 minutes to get there. So it's one of those things, even if we're, like David's not planning on being there till 4-ish or 6-ish, it's one of those things we got to be monitoring all day, because you could just be blazing and we can't just assume these things. So
Yeah.
And I haven't done one of these races before. I'm picturing a total shit show. Brian's coming out of the woods. There's 750 people in a parking lot. Like, how does Brian find where we are?
yeah.
So here's so this is my that's on my checklist of things to get. I don't know if I'm gonna get like a duck call, but I'm gonna get something to let y'all know that I'm like almost there, or that I'm coming
That's
out
awesome.
of the woods or whatever. It's a great question. I don't know.
Just
really-
ask that you let us know what it is before you come out of the woods.
I mean, how much do those radios cost?
Well, one of the things, if I'm not mistaken, you
Like a
said
lot
that
of
you
fun.
can have your phone on you, and of course, we can't totally depend on cell signal. That's one thing. I agree with your call. We can get the hootie hoo or whatever we want to have, going on there. So,
Oh, that's funny. That one is.
Hey,
Yeah,
who just put
Hang on,
their
it's right here.
okay?
Which one is
It's
it?
Joey.
No, it's a great question. Based on last year's results, I anticipate being in the back half.
Okay.
Well, and this is another thing, I have to start. And this is why I'm scared of those first few cutoff times, that first cutoff time at least. I'm starting in the back. They've put me, and there's only like 9 or 10 of us that have never done an ultra before. And that's why we have the highest numbers, bib numbers. We have to start in the very, very, very back. And it's all starting, they're starting it at 6 a.m. for everybody. There's no chip time. So it's going to be 5 minutes or more before I can even cross the start line. So I'm going to lose 5 to 10 minutes right there. And then I'm going to have to maybe potentially pass a few people. But my point is, by the time y'all are trying to find me, I'm going to be in the back half for sure, if not the back quarter.
Does it start on a wide road or trail, or does it go right into single track?
You start in that campground, and you're on a Forest Service road.
Okay.
Or like a half of a tenth of a mile before you get onto a single track.
Oosh. Okay.
It's
So you're kind of
gonna-
locked in. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. I mean, I know I'm gonna be passing somebody, and on these single tracks, it's gonna be a little tough. But
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be behind 150 people out of 250 for sure. And based on last year's results, there were 20 or so DNFs, and it was 20 something, 22, 23 or whatever DNFs. Of the ones that did not finish, like 17 or 18 of those that didn't finish, almost, it was like 85% of the ones that did not finish, they missed. Where they didn't finish was they missed the Cheeha Lake section. They missed the cutoff for Cheeha Lake. So you're talking about another 20 people potentially. Well, there's another 50 people compared to last year. So there could be 20 or 30 people who are not even getting to this point, getting to this Cheeha Lake section. So I say all that to say, I'm going to be towards the back half. There's not going to be 250 cars. There's going to be more like 75, which is still going to be a cluster.
Sure.
There's going to be 75 or so people around this time. So we're going to need something.
Well, as they start clearing out, maybe we'll just move our little area closer to where you're popping out of the trail.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, we pop out into a parking lot and we have to walk around the lake, which is all parking lot. So this is a huge, enormous area where that aid station is going to be.
Mentally, for you though, we need to catch you as quickly as possible, so you're not like I'm wasting time.
No,
I know you.
Just be somewhere along the actual course. Like if you're like 50 feet away from the actual aid station, just be close to the actual course. Where I'm not having to go off course to get to you. And it should be light. Well, it will be light if it's not light by this time, I missed the cutoff. So, well, it's going to be really close to dark, but it should be light by that time.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Do you have any pacing expectations, like things that you want and don't want? I know we talked a little bit about that when we were running one day.
Not having anyone to talk to for 12 hours. I'm probably gonna be pretty chatty. Sorry, David.
As long as you're the one doing the chatting. If you just said I need somebody to chat to me for 12 hours, I'm going to struggle.
He would struggle.
The
At
Alabama
me.
game starts at 6:45. I'm gonna have a radio on me, listen to the Alabama game.
Yeah,
So there's that.
that's a good idea.
I forgot to add that. Are you gonna be okay with that?
I don't care. He's talking to you.
Oh, me? Yeah, that's fine.
Listen to the Alabama game.
I think it's a good thing I wasn't at that aid station because I'd be giving you lies the whole time. LSU scored again. Look at that. Alabama turnover. Coach Saban quit.
Mm-mm.
Anyway,
No.
Saban is dead.
I think just to answer your question, I think paying attention to the map and making sure we're on course. Like David, this section, I've done this section on my own a ton. This is like a little loop that I've actually hiked and speed hiked a dozen times. So there it starts off on a road. I've only done that road part once with Rob a couple weeks ago or a week ago. But as soon as we get onto trail, I've done the Chinnaby Trail. I've done the Skyway Trail, which is going to take us all the way to Adams Gap. So I've done that a bunch. It moves pretty quick. Just pay attention to how I'm moving. Ask me questions, how I'm feeling. Do I need anything? Stay behind me. I'd prefer you to stay behind me. Now, if you feel like, pay attention to pace. Are you keeping your watch? Is everyone going to have a watch on them?
I have one.
Yeah.
So just every time your watch clicks a mile, tell me what the pace was, or tell me how much time that was that we just did that mile. Like every mile. Like I'm super analytical. Like I want to know what your watch says, and my watch might be 3/10 or a half a mile, different than what yours is, and mine will
We can
click at a
chat about
different
that.
time. But I just want to know. And if you sense something's off, or if you're behind me running or hiking, and hey man, I'm like, you're going slower than you just were. You know that, right? Or just don't be afraid to say anything like that to me. Like when I come in for the crew, like I want to know, like what the cutoff time is. And if I come in at 5:43, then I'm, an hour and whatever that is, an hour and 45 minutes ahead of schedule. So I've got this much time banked up. And if you want to be really good about it, if you guys can do the math, you could tell me, like, here's your average pace so far for the whole race. But you just have to divide the miles by how much total time it's been.
So
if you can do that, that's helpful to me.
Well, what about even just having a, if you will, a spreadsheet that's mapped out? I mean, I can create it if you're interested in it. That's got, broken out. So when we do this, somebody can record it and you can see those types of things, and you can have some calculations pre-done. I mean, that's what we did when we did these relay races.
Yeah.
So
to me, that's helpful. Like I want to know every mile split, like every one of them. Like I look at my watch every mile and just compare it and judge it to it. Well, if I'm my goal is to keep a 16.5 minute pace. And if I did a mile and it was a 17.5 minute mile, well, I'm already asking myself, well, was that uphill? Why was it 17.5? Is it something, am I just going slower? Am I tired? Am I hurt? Or was it legitimate? Am I going uphill? Did I stop at an aid station? Did we get lost for 5 minutes? Get off trail. So I'm just constantly monitoring the time and the pace. That's important for me. like all the analytical details. That's important for me. So, Jan, I hope I answered your question.
I think you did. She just stepped away.
No. But I'm gonna talk. You can keep me talking. You can talk. It doesn't. No, there's nothing. I don't think, Jana, there's anything that you can do that's gonna bother me.
You'd be surprised, Brian.
We'll see. I'll have a whole list after the race, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine because you'll be done. So that means you accomplished your goal, and
I think you've got the hardest job. This last bit is going to be hard.
I got you.
A
got
corny,
you.
cheesy, encouragement is I don't really do well with.
I know that about you.
Wait, what did you say? Corny, cheesy encouragement does not. Is that why you just pause every time I make a comment? It's because you're like,
Let's the temperature of his blood come back down.
I love it. We're excited for you.
Cool.
You got this.
I'm super thankful for you guys. I've never had a crew. I've never done anything like this. So it's all like brand new territory. And I'm excited, a little bit nervous, but I'm grateful too for all y'all.
absolutely,
The
sir.
weather gonna be okay? I haven't looked at the weather.
Looks like it's gonna be chilly.
I'm
but
looking
no
at it
rain.
right now. We're going to be coming off of some really cold days, but the low is going to be 41 on Saturday night.
And the wind is gonna be moving.
Yep.
When we get up to the top of some of those hills, and that wind's gonna be cold. So y'all need to dress appropriately.
Yeah, so bring those shells, and I already told Brian the year that I did it, we had an unexpected windstorm that hit up, and we had over half the field drop once they get to the top of the mountain during the night, just because it was so unexpected. They had called for good weather. So even if they're calling for 40, 41, and you sort of think it's cold, you could be surprised. You might be actually still dealing with 20, 30-degree weather. So prepare accordingly.
Yeah.
Be prepared.
Yeah, well, y'all need to be prepared too, because
Oh,
I don't want to sound like insensitive, but I can't afford to y'all get hurt or you're stuck on the trail. Y'all are stuck.
That would be unfortunate.
I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, you better leave.
What?
Sounds good.
Okay. If y'all have any other questions, let me know. I think the biggest thing you guys need to figure out is logistically, like between Keith and Rob, we still don't know for sure like who's driving.
Because I have a Toyota Tacoma.
It looks like one of y'all.
Tundra.
It looks like one of y'all are going to be driving the other person's vehicle.
Yeah,
for that one stretch.
Well, yeah, I mean, Rob, if you've got the truck, I'd prefer that, because I was going to have to borrow my in-laws. Not that that's a problem, but still, it's just the coordination of that. And
no, man, we can take my truck out there, and anybody that needs to drive it at any given point, we're good to go.
It's a big truck. It'll fit all y'all. I know all y'all aren't going to be in it at every point, but you will at some point. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. And look, once I take a look at the map, we can send a text to each other, but there might be the need just for a quick phone call just to finalize that stuff. What is today? Wednesday? Yeah, man, well, actually tomorrow, because Friday night, I know you're going to be heading that way. So I'll work on that tomorrow, and I'll send you guys a text and see what we need to do from there. If we need to get back on a quick call tomorrow night.
Yep. I just need to know where to meet.
Yep.
And what time. That's it.
Yep.
And I would just recommend y'all get to Cheeha by 4.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
See you at the general store on Saturday.
All right.
3:30.
See ya.
Boom. Thanks, see y'all.
All right.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.